If you're in search of an affordable, high-clearance axle back for your 2021 or newer Ford Bronco, this Bolt Performance high-tuck turn-down axle back exhaust system will be one to take a look at. Now, this will offer some deep exhaust notes for the Bronco owner looking for a more aggressive presence while driving. Now, speaking of the sound level, I'm going to give this a 2 out of 5 on the loudness meter, with 1 being completely stock and 5 being like, wait, the neighbor is loud. This won't increase too much volume, but it definitely will take the exhaust to another level, which will turn some heads, yet keep a comfortable cab environment for everyday driving. Now, this axle back will also be a great pick if you're taking your Bronco off-road and need some better clearance to minimize any damage to your exhaust. You don't really care what it looks like when it comes to an exhaust system. When it comes to the construction, this will be very minimal, yet it's going to be built very well with 2.5-inch diameter mandrel bent T304 stainless steel for optimal rust resistance. This will also feature a polished high-flow muffler that will be responsible for the sound that you're getting out of this exhaust system. Now, what I really like about this kit compared to some other choices is that, again, this is going to be high clearance, so it's going to tuck high and tight to the underside of the truck and is pretty even with the frame rail, which is going to increase your departure angles and minimize any trail damage. Not to mention, this will feature factory-style hangers for a factory-like fit. Now, getting into the price, this will come in at roughly $550, making this a pretty affordable choice for an axle-back system. Now, in comparing this to others in the category, you'll see a wide range of choices between sound level, materials, and just the overall configuration. Now, this will have a high-quality build with superior 304 stainless steel. It's got that deep exhaust note without all of the extra volume, like I mentioned before, and this will give you all the clearance that you need off-road. Now, others of this style may be a little bit louder, or they may come with a dual tip compared to this one, which is going to be a high tuck and is going to be a little bit more hidden. However, if you don't necessarily care about all that extra volume or the look of your exhaust, you just want a bit more function and more personality out of your 2.3 liter or 2.7 liter, then this is going to be it. Now, install will be pretty straightforward, coming in at a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Now, you will need some basic hand tools for this, as well as about an hour's worth of your time to get the job done, but I wouldn't be surprised if you got it done a little bit sooner. Now, speaking of the install, we're going to head over to the shop where we can show you a full step-by-step breakdown. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
The tools you're going to need for this installation include an impact gun or a ratchet, a 15mm deep socket, an exhaust hanger removal tool, and lubricant. How's it going, everyone? Today we have an axle back exhaust that we're going to install for you step by step. So let's get started with the uninstall. So the first thing we're going to need is some lubricant so that we can lube up the exhaust hangers, and then I'll get my exhaust hanger removal tool and get the hangers off of the isolators. So there's 2 exhaust hangers, one over here on the driver's side and one on the passenger side. Now we're going to use our exhaust hanger removal tool to remove the hangers from the isolators, and we're starting on the driver's side. Now, when you move over to the passenger side to remove this one, just be mindful of the exhaust. It might fall a little bit. Just make sure you got your other hand on it. Now we're going to loosen the clamp that's holding the muffler onto the over axle pipe. Now, this clamp is welded on to the over axle pipe, so it's going to remain in place. And when you're loosening this, just make sure that you have one hand on the muffler, because it could fall or spin. Now, I don't want it hitting you. Now, to remove or loosen this clamp, we're using a 15mm deep socket. Now we'll be able to remove the muffler from the exhaust pipe. That's the removal process for exhaust. So now we can install our axle back. So let's get started. For our aftermarket axle back exhaust system, we're installing this in pretty much the same order as our removal process. So we're going to start at the hangers, and I'm going to slide the passenger side hanger into place first. And I went ahead and lubed up the hangers beforehand just to make it a little easier. These isolators are pretty sticky. Moving over to the driver's side, You want to kind of line up the pipe and the isolator at the same time. Just be careful and make sure you have a hand on the axle back at all times. Once you have this seated all the way in, seated properly, next we're going to grab our 15mm deep socket and tighten this clamp down. Now before you tighten this clamp down, just take a step back. Make sure that the exhaust is level and aesthetically pleasing to your eye. You can kind of shift it by hand, and then once it's where you'd like it, go ahead and tighten this down with your 15mm.
So that's going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the Bolt Performance High-Tuck Turn-Down Axle Back Exhaust System fitting all 2021 and newer Ford Broncos. For more videos and products just like this, remember to always keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.